Hello guys, this is the introduction to the SpeedTree modeler. We're gonna be doing wind animation for the tree. Who doesn't know what this SpeedTree modeler is? It's the program that allows you to create any trees of any shape you want, and you can also animate them very quickly to make very plausible wind animation and export these trees together with the wind animation to any software you want by using Alembic or some other formats for that. But let's create the basic tree to start with. So I'm just right clicking at geometry and I will create trunk tube. Yeah, you can create this trunk which is very straight, or you can create a geometry and just simple trunk. It has some noise to it. So if you don't want to see this noise because it's like bendy, wavy, so you go here late amount and change this amount and turbulence amount to 0, and you have it straight. But we need some noise to have, so leave that noise and just go to the skin and make your trunk thinner. And also you have all of these sliders here, so you can change this radius based on the tip or based on the start of your trunk or the branch, whatever we have. So for example, if I bring this up, we have more thinner here at the top and thicker here. We can also like insert the steps here to make it more crazy. Notice here we can adjust this curve any way we want. Okay, so let's come back and bring it how it was before. And notice we have at the edge, at the bottom of the tree, this shape is under displacement. It's called flares. So we can make something like the beginning for the roots. If we want to add the roots, actually we can go here under the add geometry, and here we have decorations, roots. But I don't want any roots for this tree, so I'll just select my trunk and here under the displacement, and I don't want this, so if I don't want this, I just change the radius to 0. So yeah, let's select our trunk again and add the big branches. If we want more of these branches, here we can change the frequency of them. We can bring them more to the bottom or to the top, move them like this, or we can use the position, we can rotation, and any of these. You can create in a SpeedTree, you can create your own branches. Like for example, if you hover over this trunk and it's highlighted with a white color, and just you click, and then you hover over this one and you click again and drag, and you can create your own branches any shape you want. And you can position these branches where you want here. You can rotate this branch, but as I said, this is not the tutorial about the modeling. This is mostly about the wind animation we're going to be talking. So, and notice how we have here generation. This is like node based system, so big branches are child of the trunk, and the trunk is highlighted. When we select trunk, it's highlighted. We select big branches, it's highlighted. The big branches are highlighted. We can also hide. If I select big branches and press H, we can hide and unhide any of the of these childs of or parents. So now let's change the parameters for these big branches. Lengths of them may be too much, so let's go to the lengths and adjust the lengths, and under the skin we can adjust the radius, and now let's add the twigs. Let's add the twigs, but I'll come back to the big branches and change it a little bit. Also here at the top, notice how it's not covered. Here is, so to change that we can select the trunk and right click and add a cap. So now it's closed. The cap is closed now. But let's come back to our tweaks and add the leaves. Add geometry, add leaf mesh. Now we have these cards, flat kind of cards. We can replace them with any object that we want. So for example, if it was pine tree, we can replace this with pine cones to bring these pine cones as obj here, and replace this flat object with the pine cones or any shape we want, because in the SpeedTree you cannot model the pine cone or any complicated shape. It's just the simple shapes like flats we can still do. But in this case we will just create the simple leaf. So I will add the material for that leaf. So here you can click that button, add new. I will add the leaf material, and click OK. Here under the color I will just from the SpeedTree library select the leaf. In my case it's leaf front 1, and click open button. It automatically will find the normal map and specular and any other maps because they are saved in that same SpeedTree library. So I click yes, and they are all here. But we don't see our leaves because we need to add the mesh. So let's go to the edit. This is like mesh generator. It's very simple. You don't need to create very complicated mesh. So just move these points like so. And our mesh is already created. Now anchor. This is very important. You can see this small dot line. You have to place this line to the very edge, to the very beginning of your stem, because otherwise this leaf will be sunk into the trunk, inside of the, will penetrate the trunk, and we don't want that. We want our stem to start from here. And now this orange line, notice if I rotate it, we have to rotate it to the tip, because this will adjust the rotation of our leaf. We can also add the tessellation. If we want to bend our leaf, we need to have more topology. So vertex is 16 and click high button. Here is our mesh now, and this mesh has leaf material. If we go here under the material, change it from none to leaf. Now we can see our leaves. Under the generation, change the number of leaves like so, and notice how these leaves are growing only on these twigs. They are not really growing on these big branches. If we wanna have some leaves on these big branches as well, we can just select this leaf, Ctrl C, Ctrl V, and now drag these leaves to these big branches. And now some leaves we have also on these big branches. Okay, so now select your leaf and adjust the number of leaves to as many as you want. You can go to the orientation, change a line, so they will be facing the like towards the length of your twigs. So let's maybe leave it like this, and let's assign some material. Also notice if we select these leaves, there we cannot see all of the leaves because we have to enable this two-sided. Now we can see all of the leaves, and let's go to the leaf this second leaf mesh. These ones are already two-sided, which is good. And yeah, let's assign the material to these branches. So I select the trunk, and I will go here and add new, and I call it trunk. Maybe it's like this. Okay, I have to change this to trunk and go select the material from the library. I can just assign the color, it's okay if I can just assign this color. but I don't want the color. I wanna just I wanna bring the bark. So in these samples I can go here and select bark. Okay, let's select this one. Okay, use them, and notice how nothing is added. This is because we have to sometimes select your trunk and click this on this palm and drag this palm here on the trunk and click replace branch material. Now our texture is added here. But this is not about the modeling tutorial and not about the texturing tutorial on the SpeedTree. We've already done a lot about this, but let's concentrate on the wind animation. So how to do the wind? This is the most interesting feature now, and we can select on this fan and can go here and click enable. But SpeedTree has a kind of automatic wind wizard that will add the automatically most plausible setting for your wind. So if you click wind wizard and go here and change, if you have pine tree, select this. If you have palm tree, select this. If you have bush, grass, fern, select one of these. But in my case, I think it's more suitable for the ornamental tree. And also select which leaves you have. If you have pine needles, select pine needles. If you have large leaves, select large leaves. But we have something like small rustly leaves. And click OK, and it already has good wing settings. Now here we have the sliders, but we can adjust these settings as well. So here we have sliders for here. If you hover over this one, it says it's gust frequency. If we hover on this one, it says wing strength. If we hover over this one, it says gust strength. So in order to adjust your settings, leave everything like this once you have adjusted your settings. But before you want to do your adjustments, just bring the gusts to the low level, and this I recommend to bring somewhere either to the top or to the bottom. So this is minimum wing strength settings, this is maximum wing strength settings, actually it's here. But we will bring this to something like this. This is like 0.7 wing strength. And notice how everything is moving too crazy. So the wing strength settings, we can go here, and yeah, you can see this is 0.751 at the moment. If we change this, this is 0.595 now. Here it's much slower, here it's much faster moving everything. So what we can do, we can select and adjust the wing settings for each of these levels separately. So for example, the trunk, and we can concentrate only on the trunk. If we, let's say, hide this by pressing, I'm just dragging the rectangle on this one and pressing H, so we can concentrate only on this trunk. So I'm selecting the trunk and go to the wing settings, and here is our the trunk by default gets these shared parameters. So we can disable the trunk and disable any of these as well. So you can see disable, disable. For each of these levels we have disable button. So, but for now I will enable this. And if we click this under the band, these right sides correspond to the high wind. These left sides correspond to the low wind. Notice how right now we are on a high wind, so we have to adjust the right side. Don't move this left side, because it will not change anything, because at the moment our wing strength is here almost on the max. So adjust this, and you can see it's now starting to bend. The same for the turbulence. We're ending some turbulence around that bend point, but let's bend somewhere here around this bending point. Also, let's go to the frequency. We can add more frequency or less frequency. again more frequency or less frequency. We can go to the turbulence. Now turbulence is not that crazy. Or we can go to the twist, so it's twisting around its axis. But let's leave it like this, and for now let's maybe disable this trunk and let's enable these branches. Just select the rectangle H to unhide these branches. We can see this separately, the animation for these branches now. So let's go to the wind wizard, and if we click, this is wind branches are on a level 1. If you click disable, they are not moving. So enable them again, and let's go to the band, adjust the band if you want, more band, you can move like this, frequency. So yeah, you can just now unhide these tweaks. Let's go to the wind, and these tweaks are level 2, you see number 2. So if we disable these tweaks are not moving, only big branches are moving. You can disable big branches as well, or enable everything. Let's unhide the leaves, and notice how they are moving like crazy. For the leaves, you your wind parameters for the leaves you have here on the VFX leaf motion, and it can be group 1 or it can be group 2. If you go to the leaf mesh and under the animation, you can see it assigned to the group 1. Second leaf mesh also assigned to the group 1. You can assign it to the group 2 if you want. So if it assigned to the group 1, we have to change these parameters of the group 1, one of these sliders, move them to whatever level you want. But we can also go here and change it here under the animation section of the leaves. Change it like something to 0.3. Now the bend for this trunk may be too much, so select the trunk, or select this wind fan, and let's go here under the bend. Now it's not bending that much. And for the big branches, it's level 1, you can see that. Okay, and what else? Okay, so now once you have everything adjusted, you can bring the gust frequency back to where it was. You can bring it like it was, and it will now differentiate from time to time. Your animation will look differently. So, but this is you do only once you have adjusted all of your wind settings. So now let's actually unhide this cup as well. By the way, if you go here to your cup, it doesn't have the material, it's like white. Actually, I don't see right now this, so I will go to the wind. I will disable this so we can change the material for this white cup as well. So what I can do, I just drag this on a cup, this drag, and it's now changed there as well. Cup has its own material as well here, but I didn't play with that too much, so Yeah, you can do something like this, the slope. Okay, so now if you want to export your wind animation to any program, you just click export mesh and change this alembic format, because there are a lot of these. And for example, if I save it somewhere here, SpeedTree, I'll call it something like 8, maybe save, and you will have some parameters here. You have to option to set them. Usually I just have wind clicked, checked, and you can change the length of the animation. So if you want 5 seconds, just leave it 5. You can change the frame rate to 24 or 30, any frame rate you want. I will just leave it on settings 5, click OK. It will exporting it, and then we can go to the Maya, for example. Actually, I'll go to the Maya 2018. And we should have this plugin for the SpeedTree plugin. If you go program files, SpeedTree, and under the samples, not the samples, scripts, I guess, Maya, and here is SpeedTree importer plugin. You control C, you have to copy this plugin. If you want the SpeedTree to automatically create the Arnold material in Maya for your tree, you have to copy this plugin and place this plugin to the Maya folder, which is program files, Autodesk, bin, plugins, and just Ctrl V is here, and paste it here. And here is my plugin here, and then in Maya you can just go here under the Windows settings preferences, not window settings preferences, plugin manager, and this plugin, SpeedTree plugin, has to be enabled. But this is in case if you want the SpeedTree to create all of the materials automatically in Maya for you, for your tree. So it's somewhere here. Yeah, it's here, SpeedTree importer. Just click load it and auto load. So yeah, after that you just go to file, import, and here on the SpeedTree, my file 8, the file called with suffix stmat. You just click import, and now notice if I play this, we have our animation in Maya, which is cool, very cool. And we have all of the materials are set up automatically. If I go to the hypershade and click this button, actually I select my tree firstly and click this button. Now I select this, click this button again. You can see all of the materials automatically assigned with subsurface scattering, with normal map, glossy, with multiply divide, opacity map for the leaf. Notice our leaf is here white. Here it is. All of them assigned automatically. So now the only thing you have to do is select your leaves, and here under the Arnold uncheck opaque, and also create the light, skydome light. And if you render it, here you go, here is your tree. And animation as everything is working. Okay, thank you guys for watching this tutorial. We'll see you next time.